Greetings, everyone. We want to give everyone some time to get on. We have a very special guest today. She's an awesome queen. She's awesome. She's awesome. We have a very, very special guest today. She's in too. All right, let me add her.
Whatever it is, it has to wait, honey. Hi.
Hi.
How are
How are you?
you? I'm
I'm
excited.
good. I know.
Yay.
I looked at your video. Oh, you are a ball of energy, and
Oh,
I just
thank
love it. I love
you.
it.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank
So
you.
today, I just want to go ahead and introduce myself, and then I will let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
So, this is also time to give everyone time to get in to chat. I hope you guys bring your lunch. I hope you guys are ready for this conversation because it's going to be a good one. Um,
Yes.
my name is Keon Mack, a freshman criminal justice major from Claflin University, where I reign as the 2019-2020 Mr. Freshman for the current school year,
Congratulations.
academic year. Yes, thank you. And I will let you introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. I have a passion for helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. And I'm in this space because I had the honor of serving as Miss Bowie State University. And I just love everything HBCUs, especially the student leaders.
Awesome. So you just touched on it that you served as Miss Bowie State for the 2016, 2006, 2007 year,
And
right?
you're telling
Am I
everybody
right?
my age.
Oh, I
Yes,
do
it was a
apologize.
couple of
I
years
do
ago.
apologize. But you look young. You look good. You
Thank
look
you.
good. So it should not matter. Um, but you served, and you want to tell us a little bit about your year when you served as
Absolutely.
Miss Bowie State, and how did it help you become the lady that you are today?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations on being Mr. Freshman because it's the first
Thank
step.
you.
It's and I sincerely mean that it's the first step in not just being a student leader, but if being Mr. The university king is your goal, you're right on the right trajectory. So becoming Miss Bowie. One of the things I met Miss Bowie when I was a senior in high school. And when I met her, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to be Miss Bowie. So from the very beginning, when I got to Bowie State University, I charted out my path. I said, I'm determined to be Miss Bowie. So I ran for Miss Freshman and I lost. Devastated. I was like, oh no, what am I going to do with myself? So I wound up serving on, I think it was like activities promoter. I was the activities promoter my freshman year. My sophomore year, I ran for Miss Sophomore and I won. But then I switched out and became sophomore vice president. And in my junior year, towards the end of my sophomore year, I ran for university president and vice president with another colleague of mine or classmate of mine. And then we didn't get it. And so my junior year, I served I believe it was in the capacity of another, again, activities coordinator for the junior class. And I had the opportunity to serve as second attendant on Miss Bowie's court. So of course, my junior year, I was revved up because my senior year is coming. Now's my time to shine. Now's my time to be Miss Bowie. And it was fierce competition. As a matter of fact, I only won by 4 votes. Four
Wow.
votes. It was about 7 girls running, so 7 young ladies running, and I won by 4 votes. And once I became Miss Bowie, I had the opportunity to compete in the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame pageant, and I won first runner-up in that competition. Now,
Awesome.
thank you. I'm giving you that background because, one, I want to encourage the leaders who are on here to be tenacious. If you don't win the position, please know that that's not the end of your leadership. Please know that that's not the only capacity that you can serve your university in. I share my story. I share that as well because what I want you all to know is that the things that you're learning in these positions can set you on the trajectory to have the career of your dreams. I'm currently in a six-figure position, and a lot of what I've learned is what made me successful in this capacity and along with owning my own business. So I'm excited about giving you all some tips about how to use this time wisely and how to make sure that when you all graduate, people don't give you lowball salaries just because, you're fresh out of college. And that was my experience. Everybody kept saying, you need more experience. I got the degree and they kept wanting to give me like the $30,000 positions. I'm like, that's not going to work for me. So I really want you all to be able to have the salary you deserve and be able to enhance companies and their missions because you're overly qualified to do so.
Awesome. Awesome. So basically, the topic of today, to tie it all together, is turning your rain into income, right? So I'm really excited. For me, it's going to be a learning experience as well.
Okay.
But I'm really excited. I'm here. I got my iPad. I'm ready to take my notes.
I got my notes too.
I'm ready to take my notes because this is going to be a learning experience, not only for me, but for everyone who's watching. I ask that you all get your pens and papers out. You all get ready to take some notes because as leaders, we need these things. We need people to come show us these things so we can help ourselves and benefit from it. Not only benefit from it, take these positions more serious and understand that behind these positions is a legacy. And with that legacy, you can make money and turn that into power. So without further ado, I would like to let's go ahead and get into it because I am so excited. All right. So first, you said resumes for student leaders.
Absolutely.
So how could you put that down on your resume? Saying like, for me, I am Mr. Freshman. How would I put that down on my resume to get it seen?
Okay, so a couple of things. First, I want to tell you that whenever I train people on how to make their resume, I always say you want to follow the 3 T's of resumes. That's the right tool, transformational language, and transferable skills. So let's very first start off with the right tool. A lot of us think that resumes are only chronological. You know, like, well, when I was in middle school, I did this, in high school, I did that, and now in college, I'm doing this. So it's very succinct about the order of how you got your experience. But I have a personal bias. I prefer combination resumes where you highlight the transferable skills you've had from different positions. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to use as example. I'm going to use you as an example because we're chatting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it. So what are some of the positions that you have as Mr. Freshman? What are some of the things you have to do as Mr. Freshman?
So as Mr. Freshman at Claflin University, we have to host at least 2 events. Not only 2 events, we have to be active with our community service because that's one of the main goals that we, our university, serve under is community service. So with community service, you have to have at least 40 hours throughout the year as a freshman, incoming freshman. So you have to make sure you're on top of your 40 hours, and not only your 40 hours, but also interacting with the campus that's next to us. So Claflin and South Carolina State, we're next door. We only split up by 1 gate. And we can just walk over, and they can walk over to ours. So we just try to be more engaged with each other and try to make it a family knit. So those are some of the goals that we have to, like, we try to do, or that our advisors ask, and my advisors ask for me to stay on top of the freshman class, especially the males, see like what they're doing, how's everything going, because a lot of people can't reach students, like, because I stay in the dorm with them, so it's best for me to reach them. So I do a little bit of that. And it's been outstanding, just getting to know everyone. Me coming from a small school, not our school capacity holds only 300. Well, yeah, my school that I came from was only 300 students. So now I came to a university which is thousands of students, and it's different. It's much different.
As you saw, you probably see my pen going because I'm writing down.
I saw it.
I'm actually envisioning your resume already. So one of the things I talk about is that I say combination resumes are my favorite. Why? Because it highlights the skills that you have. So you can put your position in 2 different ways. You can put your title in the awards and recognition section of your resume, or you can highlight the great things that you do and breaking it down into different sections. So let's just say, if you were applying for any job, what job would you want to apply for?
I don't.
You said your major is in criminal justice?
My major is criminal justice, so I want to become a criminal investigator.
Okay, investigator. Okay, let's just say we're going to do an investigator. What does a criminal investigator do?
A criminal investigator, which they goes, so they investigate criminals, which that has on the run. Some are on the run, some are wanted, and we kind of just scope them out and like see what they're up to. Basically, you're invading their privacy.
Okay, so this is what a couple things. I'm writing this down because one of the things that people do is that they think that resumes are copy and paste and that they're one size fits all. And you can do that if you want to, but you're not going to get the job and you're not going to get the salary that you want. So what I really want student leaders to think about is what they're already doing that fits the job title that they want. And I don't know if you listened to what you were talking about and the position that you want, but you are already doing the skills of a criminal investigator in what you're in your position. Let me tell you why I say that. One, you do a needs assessment of your campus. You just told me that you have to figure out what the freshman class needs are, specifically to the males. You're in their dorm, you're in their environment, you're checking out, what are their living conditions? What are their educational needs? What is it that they need to be able to be successful beyond college? You're doing that in your freshman in college. There are some adults who are well in their 40s who don't have the skill set that you have. So already that's at least a $10,000 to $20,000 increase in your salary that you should be expecting. So no one should ever give you a $30,000. Like, you're not even gonna start at $30,000. I need to talk between $50,000 and $60,000 just as my starting salary based on just 1 year of experience. Now, when you get your degree, you're going to be amazing. You're going to be dynamite. And I would venture to say, depending upon the salaries in your area, I would expect nothing less than at least 60 to 70K coming out of college for you. What does that sound like to you?
That sounds awesome to me.
Yeah.
That's I'm here jotting down the stuff that you're saying.
Listen, and we are rewriting your resume, and I hope that everybody is taking notes of this because I really want you all to think about what you're doing in your position now to set you up for success. So a couple of things I noticed. What you said is that you host events, you do community service, you have to do partnerships, and you're working with multidisciplinary teams. Some adults, meaning like those who've been in the workforce for a long time, like intermediate professionals or experienced professionals, it takes them a while to learn how to work with different people with different backgrounds. You're already doing that as a freshman in college. So this should be on your resume. You need to put that you host events, community service, partnerships, multidisciplinary teams, and your awards and recognition. But I want to break that down a little bit because I think you kind of glazed over it a little bit. When you say host events, what does it take to host an event?
Hosting events, it takes preparation. So with preparation, it takes you finding the building yourself, learning how many people are you going to have at your event that you think this place could hold. Mainly we have like different venues on campus that we could use. But I mainly try to go for the Orange and Maroon Room because it's a big event space that we use. So I try to reserve that. So you have to go online, reserve it. After you reserve that, you got to think about food. If you're going to have food, you got to think about the cost of food. How would you raise the money to have these events? Or do you want it to be free? So there's a lot of things like preparation wise, it goes into it. Also advertising, you have to make sure you have nice flyers that people are going to be attracted to coming to your event. Then after that, you got to make sure you're getting the word out. So you got to put together a team. So once you put together your team, it's like, okay, so you're going to go to this dorm, you're going to do a dorm sweep. I'm going to do a dorm sweep at my dorm. We're going to make sure everybody can be able to come to the event at the same time. Also, we go around, ask students what they want, like what kind of events would you like to see happen on Claflin campus. And that's one of the main things that we do. I love talking to students as well, so that's one of the main things that I do is try to get everyone to interact and for us to have a family environment. So that's one of the goals that I try to go for.
Absolutely. And that I just mentally just rewrote your resume. I don't know if I haven't seen your resume, but I want to make sure that you're putting all these things on your resume. So I sure hope that everyone is able to. I think I see some comments coming in. I'm only able to see a little bit on my side. But what I want to say is that if you weren't able to see any piece of this, please watch the replay because it's important for you to pull out your resume to see if you're making any of the mistakes that are commonly made and to see how to enhance your resume. So one thing is when you said host event, see, that's just 2 words, but you just gave me a list of like 10 tasks that go into those 2 words. You told me that you location scout, you budget, you have fundraising skills, you have marketing skills, you know how to talent scout, you know how to delegate responsibilities, and you know how to assess for customer pain points, and that you're a broker. So you're a bridge between the students and staff, the staff and funders, potentially administration, potentially alumni. All these things need to be on your resume. So when I was talking about the combination resume, I'm gonna back it up just a bit. The combination resume is where you look at the job description of a position that you're applying for, and you look at it and say, okay, they want these two main skills. You'll kind of make an umbrella, if you will, of these two main skills, and then you write down all the skills that make you a qualified person in an area. Let me give you an example. I'm in my current position for about 5 years now. And when I was applying for this position, I looked at the job description and I realized that they wanted someone who could write curriculum and someone that was a social worker. So those are my two headings I would create. I would create social worker and curriculum developer. Then I would look at all the skills that I have that go under those two headings and put those under those two headings. So that's a combination resume. I really suggest combination resumes for student leaders and students in college, because you all have internships and you may not work a job for the entire year because of breaks and things like that. And so to an employer, it can look like you're not dedicated to a mission if you do a chronological resume, because it may say you're only in this position from September to December, and it looks like you're not committed to a mission, but what it really was that it was an internship. So that's why I always recommend combination resumes to college students as opposed to the traditional chronological resume. So let's talk a little bit about your highlight section or your summary section. In your summary section, first of all, do you have a resume already?
I do.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is for everybody in the audience. A lot of times people make the mistake and put an objective section at the top of their resume. They'll put like an objective section, then they'll put like qualification summary, and before you know it, your resume is 3 pages long. You don't want to do that. A resume should only be 1 page long. Now we're in 2020 where things are a lot easier to make a resume. You could just Google resume templates, or you could pull up Microsoft Word, and they've got templates in that. And so people like to get real fancy with theirs. They want to put a picture on there. They've got all these different colors and different fonts. But the truth is that most resumes are reviewed by artificial intelligence before they make the HR representative's desk. And artificial intelligence doesn't care that you smile really nice and you got your crown on, you got your sash on in the picture. They don't really care about that. They really care about those key words that you put in your resume. So that's why I want to talk a little bit about what goes at the top of your resume. Let's just kind of go down the list of your resume. Tell me a little bit about your email address on your resume. What email address have you put on your resume?
So on my Claflin, so I use my Claflin email as well. So it's kmac@claflin.edu.
Okay.
Also I have my own personal one, which is keongmac@gmail.com.
Okay. And I really thank you for sharing your email address. And I know it's very personal. We're in a public place, so I appreciate you sharing your email address with me. This is something I often tell my clients, is that you want to make sure your email address is as plain as possible, and that it doesn't allow any space for isms. What do I mean by that? Like ageism, sexism, racism, classism. Unfortunately, that exists in the career field. And a lot of times college students aren't cognizant that they get themselves, or specifically student leaders, they knock themselves out of the running just by their email address. So let's talk a little bit about email address. I recommend that you not use an email address that says .edu unless you're a professor. Like unless you've got some credentials behind your name, because then it makes sense. Like if you're a doctor of philosophy or something like that, and you're teaching at a university, okay, that makes sense. But in your case, it says to them you're a student, so I'm going to give you a student salary, or I'm going to take you on as an intern, give you paid level amounts of work, but don't pay you for your experience. So I would suggest you changing your email address and making sure that it doesn't show your gender, age, or ethnicity. It's unfair. Unfortunately, the world judges us by our names. I can remember I had a government position, and before I came in, my supervisor was expecting a Caucasian intern because of my name. So they assessed me that my name being Jessica, at the time it was Reed, I was unmarried. Jessica Reed meant I was a Caucasian female. And so when I came in, they were like, "Are you sure you're Jessica?" It's like, yeah, I am. So, or even in female dominated work, I always suggest for my male clients not to show that they're a male until they show up. And now some applications, they'll ask you for your gender, but you can always put rather not tell whatever the case may be, unless it's beneficial to you to be that gender. Like, if you were going into being a birth doula, a lot of people would prefer a woman to be that. Doesn't mean men can't do it, but that's, it's a female dominated position. Or I'm a social worker, and it's in my particular field, it's a female dominated field. So you put in your male email address on there, it's actually a benefit to you, because they pay male social workers more money because they're men. So at the very top of your email address, I would suggest you put something like, what did you say? You said it was K-Mac. What's your last name?
Mac.
Okay. And your first name?
So it was Keon G Mac.
Okay. Is that because there was a lot of K-Max out there? You couldn't get K-Mac? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
What I can appreciate is that you didn't put your graduation year on there. You didn't put how old or the year you were born. I've seen that so many times before. I know you're excited about your graduation, that you want to name it and claim it. Trust me, when I was in college, I was already putting it on there. I was like, and I will graduate this year. But it also showed that I was young, and that people thought that I was inexperienced because I put that on there. So at the very top, would you happen to have your resume in front of you? I'm just curious.
I don't, but I'm taking notes.
Okay, awesome.
But do you need me to try to find it?
No. You're fine. Okay. This is impromptu. We're just having a conversation, and I'm excited that everybody's joining in on this conversation.
Right.
So at the very top of your resume, based on your memory, and this is for the audience as well, what did you talk about when you said your summary section? What did you highlight about yourself in your summary section?
So what I highlight my skills.
Okay.
I'm good with communicational skills.
Okay.
Like things that I know I'm good at. Like I use these things to get me to where I'm at.
Okay.
So I use that. I can multitask, like different tips. And my sister kind of helped me get it together, because I just had to turn in a paper of everything. So it was like a what you call it? I forgot the paper name. It's a cover sheet.
Okay.
A cover letter.
Okay.
I had to turn in that. So with that, I had to go ahead and just like put all my skills. And she told me like some little tips that would help me in the workforce, and how to rearrange things with words, because words speak louder. When you use short words, it don't really get across, or it don't make an effect as well as you would use precise words and be straight to the point with it, and sharp.
Absolutely. So first of all, your sister is wonderful. She's awesome. She loves you. So keep her around. But what to that point is, you hit the nail on the head about transformational language. It's very important that we stay away from language that's task-based, but we use transformational language. That sounds really fancy, but what it means is, when employers are looking at your resume, they want to know, how did you change an agency that you worked for? What did you bring to that particular company? They don't want to know what you did Monday through Friday, because a lot of people will do that. They will copy and paste the job description. Like maybe you had an internship description, or maybe you worked a summer job, or I don't know. When I was a freshman in college, I had worked for the government. I had worked like for retail as well. So I would just take the description that was online for the position I applied for. I would copy and paste and put it on my resume. Don't do that, because anybody can do that. I could put my name on your resume and it wouldn't be any different, because I copied and pasted the same job description. You want to make sure it's unique to you. What title did you give yourself? I'm curious. Or did you give yourself a title?
I don't think I gave myself a title.
See, the thing is, you are uniquely gifted. The things that you bring to this position, no one else could do but you. So you need to have a title, and that's the quick, fast way for the employer to know that you mean business, that they don't even need to look at any other candidates. That because you went to an HBCU, because you're a student leader, you don't need to look at any other position. So you can confidently say, and I am, go ahead, give me your title one more time. Give me your name and your title one more time for me.
I am Keon Mack, a freshman criminal justice major from Claflin University.
Absolutely. That's how you should be able to say your title about why you're a qualified candidate for a position. You know who you are, you know what position you serve, and you know exactly what your mission is. You said your degree, that's your mission. So when I introduce myself to people, I do my little elevator speech and I say, I am a life and career strategist. I'm here to help people go from unfulfilling jobs to their dream career. You need to put a title on the work that you do. and I'm looking, and this is me brainstorming here. But first of all, you are a skilled broker because you're able to build bridges between multiple parties. That should be at the very top of your resume, that you are a skilled broker who excels. And let's see, I want to talk a little bit more about that hosting event and community services, because I really feel like as much as you're going to be in the criminal justice field, I think that you've got some multifaceted skills. And it
I do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah. You absolutely do. But I mean, but it brings up a good point, because again, you don't want to have a resume that is one size fits all. And this is for everybody. A lot of times people want to make one resume and apply for 10 different positions. Don't do that. So let's just say you wanted to go into PR. First of all, you have a stellar public relations email address. I mean, resume. If you didn't know that, public relations, you are highly proficient in it, and I would guarantee you probably could teach a class on each of these things. And this is your you're in a freshman position, but you can teach the class, because you just told me in order how to host events. You told me you got to scout for the location, budget, fundraise. You just wrote a whole course curriculum. I don't know if you knew that, but that's what you just did.
Wow, no.
You just wrote a curriculum, right? So you could even do online courses on this. You could write a course on how to help other royals, and you can decrease their frustration time, decrease the amount of time it takes them to plan an event, because you just laid out all the things they have to do. But you said host events, just 2 words that didn't highlight all the wonderful skills that you have. And you're not alone in this. A lot of people do this on their resume. They'll put hosted events. And it doesn't show that you did all of these things at hosting events. Does your current resume show that you do all these things?
My current resume, it shows that I do things. So I'm also a career ambassador at Claflin for career development as well. So it shows like all the different things that I did. They told me not to put nothing from high school. I only put my college things that I have done in college. So my resume is a little shorter now, because in high school I also did business and marketing. I got my certificate in that from Florence Darlington Tech. Technical University, college. So I got my certificate in that, and it was like an awesome program. I wanted to highlight it. I also did DECA, which is a national business organization for young leaders. I did that, and they told me I couldn't put it as well, so I just went ahead and took all that off, and I made it mainly around Claflin University and the things that I have accomplished at Claflin University.
And how long have you been at Claflin?
I've been at Claflin for 1 year.
1 year. So
well, it'll be 1 year.
I say that I know, because you're Mr. Freshman, so I assumed it's been at least 1 year. Now I don't know the thought process behind them telling you not to put that on your resume, but I'm going to counteract that. I'm going to contradict it. Okay. Here's why I'm going to tell you to contradict it, because maybe they told you not to put that on your resume because you're doing a chronological resume. Is that what you did? Like, okay, that might be why, because you can't fit it all on there. But if you do a combination resume, that's going to get you the salary that you want, because with your chronological resume, it's only 1 year experience. So they're right to say you don't have enough experience. But what you just told me is you have over 5 years experience what you're doing. From high school to college, you've been doing this at least 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And a lot of positions require at least 5 years experience. So you would have knocked yourself out the running because you didn't put the high school stuff on there. But you are already doing it. You have certifications. I'm gonna tell you something. Certifications, I didn't even get till I got my bachelor's degree. I had to get my bachelor's degree and get a certification. So you are already at least 4 to 5 years ahead of your competitors. So if I was looking at your resume, if we had a one-on-one conversation and we were doing a resume review, I would say do a combination resume, and I would show you how you could put all your awards and certifications in there, how you can highlight all the skills you've done since high school. Because you're not alone in that. A lot of college students are like, well, all I've done is internships, or I babysat on the weekend, or I used to be a lifeguard at the pool, or, things that they feel like are entry-level positions that don't matter, but they do. Because that's that transferable skills. In those certifications, you had to be diligent in studying. You have to show yourself proficient in taking the exam, because I imagine certification, you have to take a test, right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
So you're proficient in studying. You were proficient in meeting the requirements for that licensure exam. And this is something I do with my clients. I sit down and have conversations like this where I ask them, what is it that you did? What did you do? What were the steps leading up to it? Because sometimes people can be so stellar like you're so amazing in what you do, you kind of downplay the steps that it took to get there. First of all, you have to apply. You have to be accepted, and then not only accepted, you have to do the work and to meet the requirements. So when you graduate and they said, turn your tassel, they said that you met all the requirements to earn that particular diploma. And that took a lot of work. So I want that to be on your resume. And I would love to be able to, maybe we can do like a part 2 of this conversation.
Oh yes. Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Where you send me your resume ahead of time. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was needed. It was very needed.
So, I mean, I'm not that I'm cutting the conversation off now, but I mean, I'm just getting excited about reworking your resume, because based on what you're saying to me, I wouldn't, and again, I don't know the salary range in your area. I am in the DMV area in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And so the salary ranges tend to be higher than, say, some other areas in the country. Like if I were to go to Georgia, I wouldn't make as much money just because the cost of living is different. So you can definitely assess it. This is another thing I do with my clients is I ask them where you want to live so that we can begin to, I help you develop your script or what you should say to get the salary that you deserve. Do you have any idea of where you want to land after you graduate? Like where you want to settle?
I do.
Okay.
So I do have an idea of where I want to land. I was thinking about if I get into this internship that I'm working on for next year. If I get into this internship, it's in DC. It's in Washington DC. And I want to relocate in Washington DC. Okay. If not in Washington DC, I was thinking about somewhere southern, more down here, and probably in Texas. Okay. So I'm in between those two.
Okay. I'm still studying the salary range for Texas because Texas is so big. So it just depends on what community you decide to land in. But here in DC, the cost of living is crazy high. It's ridiculous. I live in Maryland. I've shared my gifts and talents with DC government for over 10 years. And the salary is significantly higher than, say, Maryland or Virginia. They pay for talent specifically. They're going to give you the salary, but it's also because it costs a lot of money to live in this area. So if you decide to stay, and if you decide to come in this area, and I know internships can be kind of tricky when it comes to pay, because some will pay you, some will guarantee you employment, some will pay back your student loans, some will pay you with recognition like publishing your work or things like that, and then some are unpaid. So it just depends upon, do you know if this particular internship is unpaid or not?
It's paid. So one of my friends, so I work at career development on Claflin campus. So I work with them hand on hand. So one of their interns actually had worked the same job that I'm trying to get into. Okay. They paid for housing, they paid for food, and they also give you money in your pocket. Awesome.
And you know what? I'm so glad you shared that with me, because what you shared as an example of what I teach is that 85% of positions are filled through networking. So you're ahead of the game. You know that networking, and that's another reason why I love HBCUs, because we're all about networking, be it through sororities and fraternities, be it through student leadership. We're all about that. And so you're already ahead of the game. And that leads me to kind of talk a little bit about specifically around student leadership and the unique experience of HBCUs. So one, as a student leader, you are afforded opportunities to travel, opportunities to represent your university. So not only are you the career ambassador, but you're the ambassador of your university. And so I want you to make sure that you include that in it, because being an ambassador has got a lot going on with that too. Like even that has a lot that you want to put in it. So in your internship application or resume, did you include the ambassador skills or just the title?
I just include the title, and I also include some skills, but not all the skills.
Okay, so that's what we need to do. We definitely. So I don't know. You got to talk to the powers that be. We got to come back on this thing. So I know we're having this conversation, but if any member of people who are watching are asking you any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment box to give any questions that you have. But let HBCU Mr. and Miss community know that you want to bring me back, because I want to work with you all again. And I specifically want to do a resume review with you, and I don't mind if you don't mind doing it live so that other people can see how to address their resume. Okay, somebody
I most definitely don't mind.
Oh, I will. Thank you. I will check my DM. Are you seeing more
because
on your side,
ma'am?
Are you checking the messages on your side?
I am. I see him.
Oh, okay.
He also asks, do you charge for helping with resumes?
That's a great question. So I'm gonna answer that 3 different ways. Okay.
Okay.
One, I do live resume reviews. I have partnered with Swag Her Magazine, and I do live resume reviews. So I like to work with participants to see what job they want, and then I will help them to tailor their resume. 2, we're working on online courses that are paid, but you can go on the online course and be able to complete your resume. And it's a college level course so that you know how to write your resume and highlight who you are. Actually, I got a couple of answers to that. Let me slow down. The quick and fast answer is yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, I charge, and no, I don't charge. Yes, I charge for the one-on-one coaching I provide. So I have a one-on-one coaching program, a 3-month program, and a 6-month program. And if you're interested in getting one-on-one individual attention, go ahead and you can message me on, someone just said you can DM me, or you can email me at jessicacanty@jessicacanty.com. I'll get you on my calendar, and we'll talk about that one-on-one experience and what that looks like. However, I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel that's got plenty of resources on there too. So I'm a budget-friendly life and career strategist. So it just depends on what you're ready to invest. But if you're interested, because I couldn't remember the person's name, send me your resume and we'll do a live resume review. Because you joined here and because you came through this platform, HBCU Mr. and Miss, I'll do a live resume review for you. And I will tailor yours a little bit more than I would for the traditional free one. Well, let's go ahead and do that, because HBCU Mr. and Miss has brought you all some wonderful material. I love seeing you all interact with the Royals and things like that. So if you send me your resume, just make sure you put in the subject section, resume for Royals, so I know it's you. Put resume for Royals, and we'll work out a great package deal for you. So that I can work with you. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh. You're so welcome. I'm so happy that you're on this live. Make sure you tell a friend, because I really have a heart for HBCUs. I also am a member of Queen to Queen Incorporated, and we have specifically HBCU queens, those who want to be HBCU queens, and those who have graduated. And now what do I do with this experience? So I have a heart for HBCUs. I went to Bowie State for undergrad, and I went to Howard for graduate school. So I'm born and bred out of a HBCU. So I have to give back, because they're ones that made me, if you will. I'm the gateway of skills. So we talked a lot, and I want to make sure I don't take up too much of your time. Am I talking too much, Mr. Mack?
No, okay. You're doing fine. You're doing excellent. This is what we brought. This is why you're on to do this.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. So what I want to make sure I don't forget is that I know as a freshman, at least in my school, you had to be at least a sophomore, I believe, to pledge. So if you want to be a part of a sorority or fraternity at Bowie, you have to be at least a sophomore. Is that the same thing at your school?
Same thing at my school.
Okay. Okay. So this is it's twofold. So if you're joining a sorority or fraternity, they want to know how you're going to enhance their organization. They don't want t-shirt wearers. They don't want people that are going to look nice in a shirt and they can put on the pearls and go step on the yard. They want to know, are you going to add substance to their organization? So this is another reason why you want to have a resume that reflects your skills. Some people get into student leadership because solely for the purpose of joining a sorority or fraternity. I'm not here to judge, but that's the reality. Some people just want to, they want to be in a position because they want to be able to pledge an organization, and it looks good because you're a leader, and they want leaders in their organizations. But it doesn't look good if you can't tell them why you being a leader is good, because some people get into leadership and all they do is fill the position. They just sit there. They wave on a nice float. Mm-hmm. They wear the tux, they wear the gown, but it's so much more to the position. So you have to be able to show that sorority, fraternity, or social fellowship that you want to join, why you are a leader. This is another reason why you've got to get your resume together now. So even if you are part of a sorority, fraternity, that's why I said it's twofold. You want to highlight why being in that organization is going to benefit a company or an agency. Don't just put, I pledge AKA, or I pledge Delta, or I pledge Alpha, or I'm an Omega man. Don't just put that on your resume. You could put that on your cover letter if you're giving that to your sorority sister or to your fraternity brother. If you're doing that in networking, absolutely. do that, because they're going to be your sponsor. They're a member of your executive board. What do I mean by that? I train my clients in creating their executive board for their career. So this is a little tidbit. I'm giving y'all some stuff that my paid clients have to get. So
Right.
you want to make sure that you build your executive board now. You're all familiar with that because you're in leadership. The people you need in your team right now is you need a role model, you need a mentor, you need a coach, and you need a sponsor. Role model, mentor, coach, and sponsor. You all are ahead of the game because you're still in your your late teens, early 20s. If you get this now, you're going to fast track your career and cut down on years of frustration. I so wish somebody would have told me that as a freshman in college. I would have cut down on years of frustration, years of trying to do it on my own. And you all are blessed that you have, I know they call it different things at different universities, like advisors. Is that what they, at your university? Okay, so you have an advisory team. Y'all better make use of that. That should be your sponsor. Your sponsor is the person who says, here's a position you should apply for. Let me know when you've applied for it so I can call it in, so I can call in a favor. So I can call in somebody and say, look out for your resume. Mm-hmm. Your role model is somebody, they don't have to know that they're your role model. This is somebody you can admire from afar. This is somebody you can admire their business. You can admire their career. They can be living or dead. Like I have a role model for each position I'm in. I have a role model for social work. I have a role model for career coaching. I have a role model for being a parent. So each role I'm in, I'm always looking at an example. I look at how they walk, how they talk. What is it that, what do they wear when they're in meetings? How do they address crises? Things like that. Now your mentor is more intense. A lot of times people think mentors are, oh yeah, they, you know what, they took a nice picture with me and they looked at my resume. No, mentors, they're going to get in there with you. They're not a yes person. You want to choose wisely with your mentor. It's got to be somebody that can give you their time, that's willing to give you their energy, that is in the career field that you want to be in. So don't think that your mentor is your a college senior. Don't pick a college senior as a mentor. Right. Unless they're like 40 and they've been at it before, they're just going back for their third degree or something like that. No. It's a cute concept to let the university king or queen be your mentor, but they should be your role model. They shouldn't be your mentor. They could possibly be your sponsor, depending on how elections are run at your university. I don't know. Different universities have different election procedures. And some of them are even changing anyway because of COVID, having to do things online. Right. So your coach needs to be specific. Again, a lot of times a coach is going to involve an investment of your energy, your time, your feelings, because they might hurt your feelings. They should give you some hard truths. Yeah. And so they might even give you, it may even be a financial investment, depending on the coach you choose. Now, I'm a coach. You don't have to choose me, but I just want to tell you, if you're going to choose a coach, do y'all still say check their receipts? Do the kids still say that?
Well,
you're gonna teach me some new language that the children still say. What do
right.
Say?
We do say receipts. Show us the receipts. I mean, but it's like they say resume too now.
Okay, so your receipt or your resume is what they need to see. And so when you are checking for a coach, because everybody's a coach now. You notice that, like when you scroll on Instagram, everybody's a coach. I can help you make $5 million in 5 minutes. It's not true. Be very careful about that. That's the snake oil stuff. That's the stuff that people, they want to grab your money and they give you a very minimal resource. And it's like you've invested $100 and you got a one sheet paper that you could have done in freshman in high school. So be very careful about who you're selecting. You want to make sure that this is somebody who can speak to a varied careers, because the coach piece, they don't have to be in your same career to be a coach. Like you and I just talked. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a criminal investigator. That's why I asked you about your positions. But even now, I was able to walk you through your resume. So when you're looking for that coach, they should be able to work with you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody got scammed. I'm so sorry.
I do see that.
Say again?
I said I see that in the comments.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's unfortunate because, especially in light of COVID, anybody can create a page. You can make a Wix website in 5 minutes and say you're a coach. And now that we can cash app somebody and they got your money. So you want to be very careful about selecting that coach. You want to know, do they have the team? Do they have the expertise? Let me give you an example. The people on my team have over 35 years of experience of getting people hired, not just in the United States, but globally. So we have a global careers expert. So some of y'all might want to work in Morocco or in, just across the world. And so you want to make sure that your coach is connected to people who can help you. I have a member of my team who helps people get government positions. Some of y'all might want to be in the federal government because it's ideally more secure. And that's a whole nother conversation. But the federal government. So make sure you choose wisely. So a couple of points that we talked about today. One, your resume is your interview passport. It's what's going to get you your foot in the door. So you've got to make sure it's valuable real estate. It's only one page. Choose the right tool. We talked about the chronological and combination resume, but now you need to go ahead and make an online resume. That's your online persona. Know that Instagram, Twitter, whatever everybody else is using, that's now quickly becoming your resume. Do you want future employers to see that? Do you want them to see that? Does it reflect who you are? Are you at a party with a red cup in your hand? Are you on the beach with a bikini and thinking that's okay? Or fellas, are you on, are you gentlemen, are you on the beach with swim trunks? Does that reflect the brand that you want? Right. And so I know it's a word that a lot of people can connect with is brand. Somebody asked a question. Can you make sure I don't miss any questions? I want to make sure I don't ignore any.
I will make sure you don't. Yes,
okay.
Ma'am.
Okay. So the difference between a coach and a mentor, you want to be very specific with that mentor. That mentor needs to be in the career field you're choosing because they're the ones who can tell you about the traps, the pitfalls, what you need to avoid, how you need to behave in those specific meetings. Like, y'all don't judge me. This is a judgment-free zone, right? Okay. So when I worked for the government, I didn't understand that there was certain etiquette to working in a military arena. I worked in the Pentagon as a college student, and I didn't quite grasp that how you're supposed to sit at the table. Like there was some hierarchy to sitting at the table. There were certain ways you behaved when people came in the room based on their rank. I didn't know how to read their ranks. And so I would just be sitting down when this high-ranking official came in. And I just so happened to have somebody say, no, you need to stand up when they come in. You see this rank that they have on? This is what you need to call that person. When they come in, you need to get up and move. This is their chair. And so that's what a mentor can provide for you. They can provide for you those specific nuances to your career. Like you as a criminal investigator, the mentor can tell you, okay, this might be additional training you want to take. This is certification that you might want to take. The coach is going to give you the career path plan regardless of your title. They're going to tell you how to write your resume, how to prepare for the interview, how to negotiate your salary. They're going to tell you how to ask for a promotion, how to ask for a raise. They're the ones who are going to tell you what you should be doing daily to see progress in the next 6 months. They will help you plan out your career. Like maybe you only want to be in this position for 2 years. They're going to tell you exactly what to do to get out of that position in 2 years or less. So I hope I answered your question. I think that was Malia Speaks. That's the difference between a coach and a mentor. And most mentors don't necessarily charge you. You're probably not going to be charged for a mentor unless you go to there are some businesses that are that give you career mentors and they charge. But that's probably because they really are career coaches, but they just call themselves mentors because mentors feels a little bit like a little bit more of a heart thing than a coach would be.
More personal.
So, okay, we talked about resumes. One of these days we got to do an interview as well. We're going to have to go over.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we're going to have to go over interview skills. Talk a little bit about your executive board, the people you need to have on your executive board. And then if you're applying for a sorority or fraternity, they want to know that you're not just somebody who shows up for the picture. You're welcome. You're not just somebody who shows up for the picture. They want to know that you've already been doing. That's another reason why I said you can't discount your high school experience. Because by the time, I'm not assuming that you're pledging anything or anything like that. But if you decide you want to join an organization, you have only had 2 years in college. But compared to other people who are trying to join, you're already 5 years ahead of them. So that's why I always say include it where it fits. So like I've been out of high school for several years now. I'm not going to put my high school experience. I'm going to put the skills I got from high school. I don't need to put that, I was in the drama club and all that good stuff. But the skills that I got from being in the drama club need to be on my resume. And that's why a combination resume can highlight that. I feel like I've been talking a whole lot. You got any questions?
Well, like you said, we're going to do another interview for you to come back and also give us tips on interviewing, not only interviewing, because I know I need them as well, because in some ways I feel like I can get better at a lot of things also, but with resumes, what are some of the go-to things that you would want in a resume to spark it, like to just say, okay, this is the one?
Okay. Awesome. One, I'm going to answer that, but I also want to say hi to Manifest Now. She's a university queen as well. She and I both served as university queen at the same year. And she actually was it top 5, sis? She was top 5 in National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame as well. I think she made the top 5, if I remember correctly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, first of all, HR representatives only look at your resume for 30 seconds. That's it. They're going to say that they're looking at it for longer, but the truth be told, and I've had HR experience, they look at it for 30 seconds. And what they're looking for is, do you have the buzzwords? Can I do a website to show? Absolutely. You want to make sure that's your online resume. And that's imperative now in this environment where you're not going to get a lot of face-to-face interviews. So you want to show the hirer or the recruiter, I should say, that you know what you're talking about, because it's easy. You can copy and paste anybody's resume and say you're a writer, but they can tell by the formation of your website whether or not you're a writer. Okay, so you want to make sure that you give yourself a title, that your summary section is the highlight reel of your experience. So for some people, what I would do is I tell them to look at your resume and highlight the things that are repeated over and over again. That means that you know how to do that. You know how to do it well. So let's just say you worked at Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's, and you notice over and over again you saw customer service, or you noticed over and over again you had to handle budgets, or that you had to handle difficult customers. That should be in your summary section because you're proficient in that. I would also say, I'm probably gonna mess up the quote, but what's Jay-Z's rap? I'm probably dating myself with this, but when he says, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So you want to make sure that you put the numbers in your highlight reel. How many customers have you served? Put the numbers there. How many years have you been doing this? Put the numbers there, because that jumps off at the page. So that's why when you do your resume again, you want to put that you've been at this for 5 years. You've been doing this for 5 years. Most college students haven't been doing it for 5 years because they just graduated. So you've been doing it for 5 years. Think about how many students you see a day as a career ambassador. How many students do you see a day as a career ambassador? Would you say?
I would say 200, at least 200.
My goodness. That needs to be at the very top of your resume. You serve hundreds of constituents, hundreds of clients. Those students are your clients. You probably serve close to 1,000 clients. So you've spent 5 years servicing over thousands of clients, and you'll specify that. You'll break it down in your resume. But you see how that sounds different than career ambassador?
Right.
You see what I mean? And it's not lying. It's highlighting exactly what you've been doing. It's not minimizing that wonderful experience that you've had. So you want to put the numbers on there. How many clients you served? How long you've been doing it? A lot of people want to put like what they're proficient in. Like, I can work Excel. I can work Word. Everybody can do that. Anybody can go on YouTube now and find a tutorial on how to write a Word document. Did I miss the question?
Someone said you're going to talk to WebForce. It's a university, HBCU.
Am I? Are y'all speaking in statistics? I would love it.
Right. They're probably going to get you to come.
I would love it.
Awesome. I was already thinking about you coming to Claflin University. I was like, this would be awesome.
I love to travel. I love to travel. But I think did I miss summary statement? How many years? How many? Absolutely. So the numbers. Include that in your summary section. Your summary section should be no more than 2 sentences, but you want to give yourself a title. And a lot of times this is where people struggle with giving themselves a title. And that's what I work one-on-one with my clients with. I never give people a title without looking at their resume, because I don't want you to suffer from imposter syndrome. When I give you the title, it's based on the work that you've done. And I want to show you in your resume exactly how you've done that work. So that's your summary section. No more than one page. Always want to highlight awards and recognitions, especially when it's pertinent to it. Don't put that you won best pie if you're not talking about applying for a baker position. So
Awesome.
you want to put the awards that specify to that. You want to highlight any training you've had. So specific training, like your certifications, that should be in there in your training. For those who are still in college, I wouldn't necessarily put like your graduation date unless you're about to graduate. So, but you want to put that you're a candidate for a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice, and then put the pertinent classes you've already taken, because you're already pursuing that career. So a lot of times people just put their degree, but they don't put what training they've had that makes that degree worthwhile. So like right now, even as a freshman, you've taken courses that are going to make you a qualified candidate. Even if it's basket weaving 101, if you want to be a basket weaver, you had better put that in there. That's that transferable skill. So we want to put that in your resume. As far as templates, a lot of people ask me questions about templates, you know, the color, the font. Should I put a picture on there? I think it looks nice, but if you have no skills to back it up, don't do it. And that's my mindset. Because a lot of times when I say skills, if you're not highlighting your skills, put it that way. We're all uniquely gifted and have specific skills to fulfill the mission of certain agencies, even if it's our own, even if we're starting our own business. If whether you're an employer or an employee, we're all gifted in certain ways. But if you've got so much fluff going on your resume that there's no space for your skills, then don't put it on there.
What about a LinkedIn account?
Great. That's another online resume. I highly suggest getting a LinkedIn account and being very strategic about the picture you put on there. We're not doing any selfies. We're not doing, Instagram-esque type pictures where, your hair is flowing or you got the nice hat, unless you're a fashion designer or you're a photographer. I would say be very strategic about the picture that you put. Be professional. It can show personality. If you look at mine, I have a pink blazer on. So that's a bright color. But if I was going into a government position, I would be a little bit more subtle in my color. I may have just put like a black suit on, a gray suit, and maybe my color would have been maybe in my lipstick choice or my earrings. So it depends upon the field you want to go in. Everybody should have a LinkedIn account. You should be very strategic about the causes you join and the groups you join. I'm glad you brought that up, because we have an exclusive LinkedIn group called Cubicle Country that I would love for you all to join, where I give specific resources just to that group, completely free. The only investment is your time and an adjustment and attitude. That's completely it. I definitely suggest a LinkedIn account. But a lot of times young people or students, they want to show off, here's my sash, and it's like it's flowing in the wind. I'm going to show you my scepter. Not in that space, because that only shows your youth. Unless, again, you're coaching university kings and queens.
Right. So, to go ahead and, because I don't want us to run out of time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it just came. So it's like 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining.
Okay.
So I just want to go ahead and wrap things up with
Awesome.
you. You can go ahead and just say your final words that you would like to say to everyone. But I also would like to say I thank you so much for coming on HBCU Miss Miss. We appreciate it. We love you dearly. Your work is amazing, and I just hope you continue to bless each and every one. And I most definitely will be inboxing you, DMing you about my resume, and we can get this on the road again.
Absolutely. And I truly appreciate this opportunity. You all have been incredibly supportive, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to touch family. I really consider the HBCU community family, but most specifically student leaders. I have a really big heart for them. And so I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Again, I really like helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. For you all, I really want to make sure that people know your worth and your value, and that they compensate you for it. I don't want you all to be shortchanged, because people sometimes will look at our university title and say, well, that's an HBCU. They want to downplay what we bring to the table. And not everybody knows that being a king or a queen is more than just being a crown. So how you can contact me very quickly, Jessica Canty at jessicacanty.com. You can go to my website, jessicacanty.com. Check out my YouTube channel, Jessica Canty. I'm on Instagram, Jessica Canty as well. Please feel free to send me your email. I mean, to send me your resume. I'm looking forward to it. And I can't wait to chat with you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.